Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Sabrina Park, Director of Marketing at Be Smarty, and I will be moderating today's discussion. But before we get started, just a few housekeeping notes. We'll save time for Q&A at the end of today's session, so feel free to submit your questions throughout the webinar. We'll also have a couple of live polls along the way, and we encourage everyone to participate. Today, we'll discuss how lenders are modernizing financial spreading to improve efficiency, reduce manual work, and create more consistent workflows, along with a look at today's capabilities and what's ahead. I'm joined today by Marissa Peppel, who leads strategic partnerships overseeing FlashSpread, Spready's financial spreading solution, and Katie Sherman, Vice President of Technology, also overseeing FlashSpread at Smarty. And now I'll pass it over to you, Marissa. Thank you.
Thank you, Sabrina. I appreciate the introductions. Hello, everyone. I may have met a few of you at the user group we had back in April in Connecticut. So welcome if there's any familiar faces. So as we're talking through modernizing financial spreading, right? We see a challenge. Companies want to move faster. They want to grow faster, do more. And the challenge with that is it's difficult when you're entering manual data, you're having consistent spreading. It's very time consuming, right? We don't have the visibility and auditability, right, when we're doing it manually. And so what we found is with modernizing, right, you reduce a lot of that manual effort, you improve consistency, increase processing, and maintaining auditability. And you also give what your company ultimately wants, right? Scale with growing loan volume. So what we found in our data is up to 96% faster processing, reducing spreading times from approximately 3 hours to approximately 5 minutes. And with technology, it's here to improve your life, not replace you. So you can go to the next slide. Thank you. So some of the best practices for better financial spreading comes at the root of the documents, right? Collecting the complete legible financial documents up front, organize the financials by borrower, entity, and reporting period, using standardized spreading templates across the board, reviewing alerts, exceptions, and key balances before finalizing within the platform, which we'll get to here in just a moment. Compare multi-period trends and document key adjustments, and finalizing spreads before reporting or exporting, right? The main key takeaway here is standardizing first, right? How the information is collected, organized, and reviewed to help improve the ultimate efficiency, consistency, and downstream credit analysis. You can go to the next one. So in speaking with our partners, we had a question kind of more to discuss more about our DQMs, right? Document quality management. And with these DQMs here is, right, you guys have this available in your platform today. What it ultimately is an error check to make sure that, hey, we didn't fully pick up, we're not 100% certain on a couple of these line items. Can you double check it, right? And it pops into the error window and so to the line item to make sure those amounts are correct. So with the DQMs, it comes to our team. We have FlashSpread specialists manually review and flag these financial documents. So with this, you get that second level of the analysis of those errors to ensure it's going well, everything's, that quality review. But the one downside I will say is it may cause a little delay unless you guys are doing it yourselves. So we do have this open for you guys and we can discuss a little bit further, provide more documentation surrounding this. But the key takeaway here is, every flagged document could receive a manual review by our FlashSpread team. So to provide that ultimate added layer of quality assurance before it enters your lending workflow. Again, this feature already exists in your workflow to control and manage that yourselves. But again, you can release it to our team. Can you go to the next slide, please? All right. So another key item that we heard that you guys wanted to talk about or us to speak to today is our FlashSpread partner communication, right? So we provide Jack Henry and LoanVantage with bi-monthly updates on known issues and product improvements. So this has been a new feature we've been rolling out over the start of this quarter to show, okay, here's all the problems that we are seeing, any bug issues we're seeing, any minor items that have been across the board, been flagged to us across the board of our user group, and when these product improvements are coming. So whether they have been reported by you guys and users or by others, that's where it all comes together, consolidated. So with that, we also have release summaries, with planned major enhancements, minor enhancements, and bug fixes that we release to the team. And with any issues that arise from you guys, they're communicated and passed through our service desk. So then you guys, your teams are aware of what's been reported, what's coming up, and having those due dates of when that's coming through. So with this, we're always looking for ways to improve, always looking for feedback on how we can improve communication, because ultimately we want the end user to have a seamless experience, right? And if there's anything that needs to be fixed, flagged, or improved, we're always open to those enhancements or those all that feedback. So now I will hand it off to Katie.
Hi guys. Thank you, Marissa, for a great intro. Today we want to talk to you about some new stuff that we are working on, and we're introducing a lot of AI intelligence and analytics and data extracts into our system. And basically, the big transformation that we're going through is taking us from very structured documents, such as IRS tax forms, where it's a PDF that's very layout based. We know exactly where each field is. It takes us to the world of unstructured or semi-structured documents, such as, for example, balance sheets. They can come from any company, any of your clients. And even though they have the overall kind of common structure, as humans, we can guess what every line item is. It's not like we know where exactly it's going to be positioned in the document. So that's where we need AI, because AI data extract is more context oriented, and it reads a document into what we call a document schema, which is a list of predefined position items or positions or fields. And I spoke with one of our clients the other day, and she said, Katie, this is what we did before technology. We copy pasted into a spreadsheet, into like Excel spreadsheet, and we created those line items, and we copy pasted the numbers. So that's what AI is going to do for us for unstructured documents, such as financial statements. That's our first group of documents that we're supporting. We already support balance sheets and income statement. Now we're actively working on adding the personal financial statement. And so with those three, we will get a lot of our level of confidence is going to be higher than compared to OCR. And we'll get those documents not only extracted. So the extraction itself is one problem. The next problem is the standardization. How do you review? How do you view? How do you see what's in the document? How do you correct the extraction if it's not 100% accurate? AI gives us pretty high confidence scores. We're looking at about 90% across the board, but it's not always that. And it depends on the document, the quality of the copy, and other things. And so we will have more flexibility at not at the field level, but also at the subtotal level and other areas where we will be able to present the document to the human validation, human in the loop. This is the way the industry calls it. And we also will improve the way the data that's extracted from the document flows into the downstream reports, spreads, and other documents. So on this slide, I hope you can see it. We have two examples of a balance sheet, one of the balance sheet and one of the income statement. And as you can see, this is a digital representation of what's in the document. So you can see how the groups are represented and line items are represented too. One of the problems we're seeing with this type of documents and the feedback that we're getting from our clients is that it's not only the extract itself that is challenging. The challenge is with figuring out all of the financial categories. In this case, if this is business financials, this is the layout of the accounts and the kind of almost like the general ledger structure that the clients give to you. But then somehow we need to figure out, okay, what matters to you guys? Because you Some of our clients tell us that they're not interested in seeing every single line separately on the report. If it's inventory, some lenders tell, I just look at all inventory together. I don't care what exactly, or if it's cash accounts, I don't care which cash accounts. For me, all of that should be aggregated. So today we have a way for you to specify how you want to do this. In the future, one of our next items of our on our roadmap, and I'll show you in a few minutes on the next slide, it's we will modernize the way we look at the financial categorization, and we will map it and we will make it configurable at the client level so that whatever comes into our system, that being financial statements or even tax forms or personal financial statement, all of that goes into a standard model. That's the standardization piece that Marissa has highlighted. Everything will be standardized into one model from which every client will be able to say how to spread and how to use aggregations or how to represent all of those different types of financial groups into assets, liabilities, or expenses, or however you want to see this on your credit outputs. So what we're looking at is right now we're working on the personal financial statement. This is our next deliverable, which will happen pretty soon. The next will be standardized processing, where every document goes through the same kind of structured process, produces the same data output, and that we can mix and match and dice and slice and analyze it with you and for you so that it matches your needs. We also will continue to work on validation and analyst review, and I will touch on this on one of the next slides where I will explain how we want to automate more of your work and not only automate your individual work of your individual users, but also improve the way you manage and you control your business process overall. So if we can go to the next slide, this is our roadmap. From the beginning of this year, in the past couple of quarters, we worked on adding some additional tax documents. We will have a list of our supported documents in one of the slides, but it's not the full list. We have a lot of different documents that we support, and also schedules and some additional statements and stuff. So if you are interested, please work with your partner, with LoanVantage team. But we will be happy to provide the supported list. We've added a few things this year. Obviously, we support now 2025 forms, but we also added 990, M3, and Form 1120H. I don't think you guys have been using our business financials, but we constantly work on improvements. And this in Q2, I think we improved the way the users work on error resolution. It's much more streamlined and clear. And right now we're working on extended capabilities around unstructured documents and document classification. And what it gives us from the document classification perspective is that all of our incoming documents now will go through AI, and that will allow us to first of all to say what is the document, and even in cases where the documents are not just one document in the PDF, but a combination of documents. It can be something that went through a scanner and has multiple documents, or it can be an audited statement from a CPA where it has a cover letter and then additional documents bundled into the PDF. We have the ability to split the document into individual documents and know what each one is, so extract data from each one separately. We are adding flexibility to our validation rules for financial statements documents, which means that not every error that we find is going to be categorized as an error. And so I know that creates additional work for our clients today, because every discrepancy that we find, we report back as an error. So we will be much more flexible in this way. And also because we'll be using AI allows us to have confidence score at the field level. And then in addition to that, we will continue doing what we do today, what we call validations, where we also look at the subtotals, we compare different things, we can compare like credit to debit, or we compare this subtotal to this subtotal to make sure that that allows us to say, oh, if the subtotals don't match, for example, it's possible that some of the extraction was incorrect in some of the fields. So we will continue doing both, but we also will be able to assign severity level to each validation to say some of them will be blocking, which means the analyst will have to go and solve the problem, and some of them will be non-blocking. And non-blocking means that it gives you guys more flexibility. You don't have to click in every field. You can allow the system to work more automatically. That will save you time. And the flexibility will allow you to establish the guidelines and establish the policy at the company level, at the organization level, so that you control what your users do, where they have to go through the validations and where they can just let it go automatically through the system and go directly to the spread. So we expect better accuracy on extracting financial categories. That's what I mentioned a little earlier. That's also an area where we use AI. It's very difficult for OCR to know what, like when OCR kind of tool looks at a document, we cannot tell it where exactly in which, like what pixel and where to look for the financial category, if it's a cash account, if it's an asset, if it's something else. But AI has the same similar capability like us humans, and we can eyeball. I can look at the page and say, oh, clearly this is cash account, this is asset, this is expense. And so AI will help us in that to map what all of those line items are to our standard model. And like I said, from the standard model, we have ways for each client to define how they want to represent those categories and groups in the reports. So that's also in the work. Personal financial statement, I already mentioned that. The personal financial statement finalizes our financial statements group. And then the next unstructured documents that we will continue to work on will be the four listed on, the three listed on the right: rent rolls, bank statements, and AR/AP agent reports. Right now, it seems from our interviews with the clients and users, it seems like the rent rolls and bank statements create a lot of excitement, and it seems like those are prioritized higher. So we're kind of targeting those two, hopefully for the rest of this year. But we also will be my product organization will be happy to hear from you guys. And also, anytime you are interested in adding another document, we're always asking our clients to send us an example, especially with the unstructured documents. They are so different. We've collected a whole collection of personal financial statements, for example, and they all different. We've seen PDFs, we've seen Excel, we've seen different combinations, we've seen Excels with multiple tabs. Every bank and every lender has their own template. And also with the business financials, it's documents that come from your clients, and they also can be very different. So we're looking at different variations so that we can test better and we can validate our model and make sure that it works and it's accurate. We're also working on two modernization projects where we'll have better administration, which probably more applies to our clients who manage their product themselves. But we also will have a better UI and user experience where everything is much more kind of streamlined. It's our modernized UI that we started working on. Once we have demos or something to show to you, I'm sure we will do some user interviews and we'll show some things that we're thinking about, but we're looking into a lot of improvement and a lot of exciting opportunities. This is a list of the documents that we support, just for your reference. These are only the highlights. This is not all from the tax perspective. It's a long, long list of the main forms, obviously 1040, 1065, 1120, but also a lot of different like schedules and some statements. So if you're interested, let us know and we will give you the specifics or work with your partner on the LOS side and they will give you the specifics. And the 3 documents that we currently have or 4 documents that we have on the roadmap are on the right.
Awesome. Thank you, Katie, for all of that. And just to clarify, I know we received a few questions. So this is what we're working on in our current platform and offering, and then we'll be working with the LoanVantage team to also provide this to you guys as the end users. And yes, we will be making the slide deck and recording available after this call, so you guys will all have it for your records. So one of the questions I want to start off with, kind of as a poll to you, is what is your biggest financial spreading challenge today? And what matters most in a spreading solution?
In the meanwhile, Marissa, do you mind if I answer the question from Brendan?
Go for it, please.
Does Flashcard look at statements attached to the tax return to get itemization on miscellaneous expenses? So we have partial support. We support some statements. However, some of the statements are really unstructured documents, right? Some of them are just lists, or some of them are, I think, like attachments or some addendums. So we are looking, I think we're trying to think about a solution that is a hybrid where the main tax form goes through the OCR. We still think that, and I think the industry agrees. We interview our clients and our partners, and it sounds like the industry agrees that for the structured documents, OCR is still the best technology because it's accurate and it knows exactly where to look. But we will be combining it with the statements that come in that, kind of free form structure. So I don't have a specific roadmap for that yet. We wanted to focus on bank statements and rent rolls after our financial statements, but it's definitely the area that we're recognizing as a potential and an opportunity for further AI usage.
And to follow up on that, Katie, thank you for that answer. We're always looking for, feedback and how to improve and what's important to you guys, the end user, what's going to make your lives easier and the technology more useful. So please continue to provide that feedback. All right. Okay, let's see. Sabrina, I'm going to pass it off to you for the poll answers, or would you like me to go for it?
Yeah, you can go for it.
All right. Thank you guys for answering in the polls that we did. So what is your biggest financial spreading challenge today? 1, manual rekeying. That can be, yeah, time consuming, inconsistent output, then slow turnaround, and then document volume is the last. Then let's see here. What matters most in spreading solution? With accuracy with number 1, and then integration with the LOS is number 2. We got 0 on speed or auditability. So good feedback. Thank you guys all for answering those questions.
Okay, we're going to open it up for questions now. I have a few here, but feel free to start asking questions in the chat, and we will get to it as soon as we can. So the first one I have here is, what are the biggest process improvements you see lenders make when they modernize their financial spreading workflow? Who wants to take that one? Do you want to take that one, Katie or Marissa? What are the biggest process improvements you see lenders make when they modernize their workflow?
I can take part of that answer, and Katie, feel free to jump in as well. So the biggest process improvements I've seen with our lenders is a bit more organized, right? Kind of speaking to one of the earlier slides about best practices is cleaning up and making sure that you have the right documents, creating those templates, and then also, training your team, really working and breaking the system as much as possible. So, making sure that you have the right documents, have the right structure, going into it to get the better outputs.
Yeah, I think for me, it would probably be the ability to look at things holistically. So it's not just one document, it's a bunch of different documents that we can assign to the business entity and individual. And also, the more you're using the system, and depending on how you see it in your solution, but we have the ability to accumulate that information over years. So basically, I can see the business entity and which documents have been submitted for the past several years, maybe even for a number of credit questions, right? Or then a number of like credit asks. But I can see that entity and its history and all of the documents and spreads that have been created. So I think that gives you not only a quick credit decision, but also I think a better credit decision because it's based on more data.
Great. And the second one I have here is for organizations already using FlashSpread, what are some best practices for getting the most value from the platform?
So that question kind of stumped me there, Sabrina.
For,
Uh,
okay. Do you want me to reread it?
no, you're good. Katie, do you happen to have an answer for this?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. I think the best practices would be to um, use it consistently. And as we continue to evolve it, the system is also kind of teaches itself, right? So basically, for example, with the business financials, every time we correct or the client corrects a financial category, the system memorizes it. And so the more you're using it, the better the outcome is going to be. And this has nothing to do with teaching the AI model. So we don't do this just from the security perspective and data integrity and ownership perspective. We're not using, or our vendors are not using customer data to teach the models, but the system itself has a way to remember and build a better categorization as we go forward. And so that information is accumulated and serves the user better as they continue using the system.
Okay. And does FlashSpread spread tax return K1s? If so, how accurately? Accuracy seems to be a struggle in the past.
Yes, we support K1s. Our current accuracy with OCR is pretty high. We have had some issues with like specific fields where the dates might be a little misaligned. OCR basically has an issue with like misalignment or where it doesn't know where like the lines are again aligned to each other. I haven't seen a lot of reports recently. I think it's gotten better from the accuracy perspective, and OCR is pretty accurate. With AI and unstructured documents, we're seeing consistently above 90% self-reported confidence score, which means that's what the model thinks its accuracy is. But we do a lot of tests internally with a human review to say, does it actually match? So we're collecting that data, and by the time the personal financial statement goes to production, we'll have a pretty good, I think, assessment of how accurate the system is, but I think the accuracy is pretty high right now.
And then does FlashSpread have any statistics on the error rate for tax return spread using their system?
Yes, yes, we do. We do collect data on errors.
How does standardized financial data improve downstream underwriting and loan processing?
I'm gonna take this one. So the standardized data, it turns, document processing from the bottleneck into an accelerator, right? Faster decisions, lower risk, and then ultimately more deals funded for you.
Perfect. And the last one I have here is, how do you see AI supporting analysts rather than replacing them?
Yeah, I'll take this. Um, we're a technology company, and so we're using AI in many different ways, including we're using it as a assistance kind of tool to our development cycle. We're using it as an assistant in our product management cycle. And of course, we have all of the security procedures and policies and compliance policies around it. So it's all very secure. But what we're finding with AI is that it doesn't replace people. It just shifts it allows you to execute a lot of like kind of legwork, a lot of work, but then it allows the human to free up their brain capacity to think and to make better decisions. So we see AI as a tool that sharpens the way you think and not as a tool that replaces people necessarily. Some of the things that we envision and how we think the industry will be evolving is AI, instead of making credit decisions, I think AI will help you guys to compile the information in a way that is helpful and also in a way that is very targeted to what you need to do. For example, today we produce spreads, which is tabular reports, which is basically like Excel sheets, right? In the future, what we're going to do is to create credit memos or write-ups, as some banks or lenders call them, where we can collect all of that information and basically use AI to create a narrative. And again, it will be just for your convenience. It's not going to replace their decision maker. It will be a convenience that will immediately put it all together in a narrative form. And there's some other things that we can do. So again, I think it's about having the information as your data at your fingertips and have rules and policies that your company and guidelines that you have for your employees and combine that all together into a better decision. It's very funny for me kind of to look at your answers to the poll where everybody said, when we said what's more important, and not one person said speed. And it's very aligned with my understanding of your business. Nobody needs a super fast credit decision, but you guys need to reduce your risk for a company or manage the risk and make a good credit decision. And I think AI will be a huge helper in that.
I have one more question that just came in. Has this product been tested to ensure that it works?
Yes, obviously, yes. We're testing everything internally. And like I said, every time we test, for example, with the unstructured documents, we created a library of, I think, several hundred different personal financial statements. We collected different templates from our clients. And like I said, it was PDFs and also Excels. We populated those forms as typed PDFs or handwritten PDFs with like different handwriting. So we're running it through a very aggressive testing. From the unstructured document perspective, the input data is always different. So we never expect our clients to test for us, but we also expect that there will be some scenarios in which we weren't able to test. And so we do our best to make sure that it's production ready and customer ready.
Okay, thank you both, and thank you all for joining. As we mentioned earlier, we will be sharing a recording of this webinar. Thank you for spending your time with us.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.